What's up, everybody? Welcome into MLB DFS Live for Wednesday, September 9th. I am your host, Ben Hosser, joined by Justin Bales. Bales, we're full on NFL season now. I did the cash process with Anthony Monday night. That's up on YouTube. Go check that out. We're recording the Game Theory podcast tonight. That will be up late tonight on YouTube. It'll get posted on Twitter and iTunes and all that tomorrow morning. So tons of NFL content's coming out. I know our written content will start dropping later tonight, early tomorrow. And we're fully in the swing of NFL. So now we've got this, really baseball and football going on at the same time. We're getting towards the middle of the NBA playoffs. There's a ton of sports going on at once. We do have a nice 9-game baseball slate tonight. And we're going to jump right into things. Start with pitchers, stacks, and then positional plays. Starting at pitcher, there's 3 really good aces, in my opinion, on this slate, Bills. We got Yu Darvish, we have Trevor Bauer, Clayton Kershaw. Last night, we kind of saw some chalk get pushed on to Tyler Mahle later in the day with the wind blowing in Wrigley, and we've got some wind blowing in Wrigley again tonight. So that helps both Darvish and Trevor Bauer. And obviously, Kershaw, I think, not maybe in terms of price because he's not that far off of these guys, but he's right there in terms of pitching ability as well. So where are you sorting, or how are you sorting, should I say, the top 3 pitchers today?
Honestly, I think you could use any. I don't really have any issues of any of the 3 that you want to use for their prices. If I'm putting them in order, though, I do think it's Yu Darvish, then probably Trevor Bauer, and then Clayton Kershaw. Arizona obviously can't hit lefties, so you're fine with Kershaw there. But Darvish has been pitching at just an unbelievable level, so I will pay up the most for him. I think he's by far my one, especially since he's throwing over 100 pitches consistently now. You know he's going to throw pretty deep into the game. Cincinnati's offense is really bad. And I think the winds are like between 10 and 15 miles an hour blowing in. That also, I feel like, is honestly enough to bump Bauer. We know that Chicago also loves to strike out. Bauer has electric stuff. And I get that he's the underdog and everything, but on DraftKings, really 4 points for a win isn't going to kill you, especially with the amount of strikeouts that these top guys can get. So I feel like I would go Darvish 1, Bauer 2, Kershaw 3. But I think that Bauer and Kershaw are closer to each other than I think either are with Darvish.
Yeah, I agree with you. So the question I'll ask you, Brent said cash process is fire. Thank you for watching that, Brent. I appreciate it. How are you going to play cash games? Because I think you can spend up for 2 of Darvish, Bauer, Kershaw. I think you can play 2 of them if you want. But that's not really... I don't mind doing it, but that was something that we liked to do kind of years ago, right? With the way offense is scored now, I do like to spend down on my SP2 normally on DraftKings and kind of get some bats in. And I don't really like anyone in this mid tier. Like, I think Luzardo's fine in tournaments. I think Pablo Lopez is fine in tournaments. Why is Tom Malone 9,200? I don't. Do you have the answer to that?
Dude, that was like yesterday. Michael Wacha was like almost 10K, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't know what are they doing, but so I think you can spend up on 2 guys if you want. If you don't spend up on 2 guys, I think you probably take Darvish, and then you plug in Dane Dunning, who is 6,500 against Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Righties against Pittsburgh have kind of been the move for a while, and Dunning has looked pretty good since coming up. 6,500 is cheap. So I think that's really like the 4 guys you consider in cash, and you're just deciding what you do. So are you going to spend up for 2 guys, or are you going to spend down at SP2?
Normally, I would say spend down at SP2, but dude, look at these bats on this slate. You have multiple guys for Texas that are like right near the minimum price against Julio Teheran. No problems there. Justin Upton, if he's in the lineup, is 2,600. You can go something weird like DJ Stewart has been absolutely fine. He's minimum price against Rick Porcello. Jesus Aguilar is extremely cheap. You even have guys like, I know we like Dunning, but Gregory Polanco is 2,800. Gallo's even 3,800. Like, literally, everyone on this slate is super mispriced. So it is going to be very, very, very easy to fit in two of the high priced pitchers. If you just play, let's just say Bauer, Darvish, you stack it, you still have 35 per person. If you just send in one guy that's basically minimum price, like you're up to a relatively normal spot. I just don't think it's going to be very difficult to get two of them. And if I'm going to guarantee myself like probably a 50, maybe 45 point floor from my pitchers with the chance to score 60, 70, am I really not going to do it? Hoping that Dunning doesn't get hit by Pittsburgh. Like, it's not like he's this dominant pitcher right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
he's still a rookie. He's still, I guess he threw 88 in his last game, but it's not like he's even looked untouchable. He's been very good. I think he's going to keep being very good, and we love the matchup, but it just seems like guaranteeing yourself what Darvish and Bauer are going to do seems like the smart option.
Yeah. So if you're going to spend him on two, you're taking Darvish and Trevor Bauer over Kershaw?
Yeah, I think so. I think the only thing that would change my mind is if, like, for some reason I legitimately can't find $400 because I have Bauer and Kershaw ranked very, very close to each other. But as long as I can get there, I'll just take Bauer.
Yeah, I agree with that. Do you have any other pitchers that you want to mention? Because I really think that's my pool. I really don't want to mess around with the mid-tier too much, other than Lopez, who I think is fine, and Luzardo, I think, are both strong tournament plays.
Yeah, I think you're good there. Outside of that, no, not really anyone that I'm looking at. I think you can take a shot on, like, Zach Davies if you want. We just saw him throw relatively well. He kind of got screwed a little by 4 unearned runs in Colorado, and now he's playing at San Diego. So I don't hate if you want to take a shot on him.
All right, if you guys have any questions on the other pitchers, you can ask in the chat. We're going to move on to the stacks. I think it's pretty clear at the top in terms of stacks today. Dodgers were my favorite stack yesterday. I think you're going right back to them today. I think they're clearly the number one. I think the Padres are up there again. The Padres had, dude, I didn't play Mitch Moreland in cash last night, which he was pretty high owned, so I probably should have, regardless of what happened in the games. But I would just know I would have been tilting so hard. So Chichi Gonzalez, I think he I don't know if he walked the bases loaded, but the bases were loaded with no outs at one point. And Mitch Moreland comes up, and I'm pretty sure he struck out with the bases loaded in the first inning. Dude, I would have been tilting so hard if I played Mitch Moreland.
That's prime Mitch Moreland.
Yeah, it really is. Even though I like Mitch Moreland a lot, but it is. So I think the Padres are right there with the Dodgers for spend ups. White Sox you can play on every slate. Rangers are like the chalk cheap team, which you kind of alluded to when we were talking about pitchers. Julio Teheran has just not looked right at all during his time in LA. And these Rangers guys are really, really cheap. So they're going to be one of the top stacks tonight, especially in cash games. And Marlins against Tommy Milone, I think, are in play. I kind of liked the Marlins last night against Kyle Wright. I think you can go right back to them for their price. And then, honestly, both sides of the Mariners-Giants game, I think, are playable as well. There's a lot of stacks that I like today.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I'll add the Mets. I can't believe you didn't say them after they completely screwed us last night.
You want to know why? You want to know why I didn't say the Mets? You want to wonder why? What was that? You know what? It was my boy John Means coming through.
Yeah. Right in the clutch.
Yeah.
And then I think you can take the Angels too. Like, dude, that lineup is rough, but I don't really like Cody that much as a pitcher. He's due for just a ridiculous amount of regression. It's not like he's throwing terribly, but I don't think he's given up a hit to a left-handed batter yet this year. Not sustainable, obviously. I think his xFIP's well above 4, and I don't think he's allowed to run. He's thrown in 4 games. I think he's only started 1. And then you get a little bit of the Rangers bullpen because even if Cody's throwing at an elite level, he's not throwing more than a few innings. So I'll take a shot on the Angels tonight. I don't mind that either.
Yeah, Jack and Chad said stack Sanford. Yeah, I love to take them against lefties that give up home runs. And, you have Wilmer Flores, Longoria, Slater's back. And these guys are all they're always your Bale's boy is Darren Ruff. Like it's just they have to be related or something at this point. But those guys are all really cheap, so I think that's a really strong stack. I think there's a lot of ways to go today, but like you said, it does make sense to double spend at pitcher. I think in cash just with how cheap some of these guys are. Do you have any other stacks you want to mention?
No, I think we nailed pretty much all of them that I'm thinking about.
So are we in agreement? The White Sox are probably the one once again that goes overlooked. I think.
Oh yeah, the people don't play the White Sox because they're too expensive.
Yeah, they never play them.
You almost can't play them. Like if every single night I go to make my White Sox stack, it's very, very difficult to even get them in your lineup because you have to use 2 cheap pitchers. And usually there's at least like one decent guy that you're like, oh yeah, no, I'm definitely spending up on him. And if you play the White Sox, you can't. But every night they also go off if I don't play them.
Yeah, I did. Well, there is one day that you played them, right? And that was against Matt Harvey. And
yeah, I got him against Harvey.
Yeah.
I don't count that. If you put a little league team against Matt Harvey, you're gonna hit him.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on to the positional plays. We'll start off at catcher. Who are you? I guess I'll ask, who are you spending down on today? Because if we're double spending on pitcher, we're going to need some savings at catcher.
Yeah, I think Ben Boom, assuming he's in the lineup, he has an outstanding name, but he does hit right-handed pitching relatively well. 2,600. I feel like, it's just super cheap. I wouldn't take my shot here on any of the guys in any of the Arizona guys. I don't like Carson Kelly, even though he's super cheap, or the guys for Cincinnati, Chicago. I'm not really touching either of them. I do think. Then you can obviously go Stallings at 3K, but I feel like I'm probably going to spend down as low as I can, which, assuming he's in the lineup, is more or less going to be Ben Boom.
Yeah, I agree with that. Joey Bart's relatively cheap, 3,500. Not as cheap as Ben Boom, but he is down there. I think you can use him. Chadwick and Alfaro's cheap. He had a big night last night. Kind of fits with my interest there for the full stack. But you're definitely looking to save some money here. First base, who do you like in cash at first base? Like, are you going to spend up for Bellinger or Muncy, or are you going with someone a little bit cheaper?
I don't know if you necessarily can. I mean, I guess you can. Yeah. I wouldn't mind it. Mitch Moreland's 3,800 though, and I mean, that's pretty cheap. And Jesus Aguilar is 3,600 against Malone, and I don't know if you've seen him, but since he came back in early September, he has been on fire. Nothing like absurdly ridiculous, but for 3,600, I feel pretty good about him hitting value tonight, honestly.
Yeah, I like Slater as well. You can use him I think he's first only on FanDuel, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't even know he was at first on DraftKings. I thought
he might not be. I know FanDuel is what I was looking at, and I think he's first only, so you have to play him there. He's probably outfield on DraftKings.
Yeah, he's outfield only on DraftKings.
Yeah, at least the last slate he was on for FanDuel, he was first only because I was so confused of what was going on there. But for FanDuel, if he's there, you can use him. But yeah, Aguilar might be my favorite, and it feels like no one ever plays him since he went to Miami, but he used to be like a guy when he was in Milwaukee. He was like a guy that people would like to play for cheap. The Brewers are up 15-0 right now on the Tigers.
Good offensive explosion here.
Yeah, what's going on? Ryan Braun just hit a 2-run home run, but and then you have Wilmer Flores as well on DK is first base eligible. So
I'll add Edwin Rios is only 3,300 too, and like you're gonna get the bottom of the order, but you're still getting some Dodgers there.
Yeah, I actually like Edwin Rios. I think he is a good hitter. I tweeted about him. I thought he was going to get in the lineup on opening day, so I tweeted about him, but he ended up not. But I actually think he's pretty good, so I don't mind that. Second base, are you going Texas Rangers at second base? I would assume so, right?
Oh, yeah, probably.
I mean, look at the prices on these guys. So Tejada's what, 2,900 if he's in the lineup. Solak's cheap as well, so you're probably looking to save at second with a Rangers player. Wilmer Flores is second as well. Gavin Lux is there. He homered last night. There's a lot of strong, like cheaper plays. But who are you looking at spending up or like in the mid tier?
I think the more I think about it, I don't think I would actually go Solik because Jeff McNeil's 100 cheaper. I would probably just take Jeff McNeil there. Or Dylan Moore is also 3,500, so 100 cheaper. And against Anderson, that's a really good play, assuming he's hitting it near the top of the lineup.
Yeah, I like that call. Jack brought up in chat Aledmus Diaz. Yeah, if he's in the lineup for Houston, don't mind that. We'll move on to third base. Third base, I mean the top play at third base is Max Muncy, right? I played him in cash last night, but probably won't be able to get to him today. Who do you like in the mid tier? Because I think if you're spending up, you're probably playing him or like a Machado. But DK was really aggressive with Machado's pricing recently.
Yeah, Machado's almost as expensive as Muncy, I believe.
Yeah.
I think Tommy La Stella makes a lot of sense at 4,600. If you can get to him, Moncada at 51. I think you can use JD Davis at only 41. That's pretty low for him, but he's not exactly my favorite Mets play. And then, I mean, if you want to drop all the way down, Sandoval's supposed to be in the lineup at 2,600 for the Giants tonight. I think you can kind of take a shot there. Not really something I'm dying to do, but I do think you can do it if you have to.
Yep, I agree with there. Shortstop Seager, definitely my top play here. Tatis Jr. I think is in play as well. If you're spending up kind of the obvious ones, you can always use Chris Taylor for cheaper Dodgers exposure if you want. But I definitely like Seager if you can get to him. Anderson Tejada is second and short, I think, on DK, so you can use him as long as he's in line for the Rangers. And then you have Isaiah Kiner Falefa there as well, who should be at the top of the Rangers order, just over 3K. That's really the guys I'm looking at. Tim Anderson, you can obviously play in GPPs as well.
Yep, I think you nailed it. I think Miguel Rojas for 3,900 is fine against Malone. I don't have any issues there. And Jimenez at 3K. I know he's going to be hitting late in the Mets order, but I don't have any issues with him there.
Yeah, I've played him a couple times recently in cash. Like he's just so cheap.
He's not bad either.
No, he's not. He just hits down in the order, so people don't want to play him. But outfield, I'll let you start out here. Who do you like at outfield? Outside of the obvious ones, like the Dodgers guys, or obvious Bellinger, Mookie Betts. You have like Mike Trout on the other side of that game, obviously. On the other side of that Texas game, I think is a good play. But who do you like at outfield today?
Yeah, I think if you need something right now, he's projected to lead off, which is Tavares for Texas. He's 2,100. If he's leading off, go ahead and play him. That's super easy. I really like Michael Conforto. He's been on absolute fire. I know we've played him a couple times recently. It makes a lot of sense to keep going there. Austin Slater, you touched on earlier, I think for 3,700. No issues there whatsoever. You have guys like Dominic Smith is only 4,200. Justin Upton, I talked earlier, is 26. If he's in the lineup, same with Shin-Soo Choo is only 26.
Yeah, why is Shin-Soo Choo 2,600?
Dude, I don't know. It just so we can pay up for two pitchers, I think, is why they did it.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's a really bad price. That's one of the worst prices of the year, I think.
It actually might be. He's been super cheap all year, though. Like, not 2,600, but he's been like mid 3K.
Yeah. If you want like a low-owned guy at outfield, Ryan Mountcastle homered again last night. I think he's going to be obviously a good hitter. He's 3,600. Slater's 37, fitting with the San Fran guys that we like. There's a lot of value at outfield, obviously. Mazzara is down in the White Sox order, but if you want some cheaper White Sox exposure, you could go with him against the righty. Adam Frazier leading off against Dane Dunning. Adam Frazier always hits, I swear, I have to look this up. I guarantee like 25% of his career home runs are like leadoff home runs. He always hits leadoff home runs, I swear. Or at least it feels like he does.
Well, I agree.
Like, doesn't it? It always feels like I look at him. Like, it always feels like I'm looking at him, and I'm like, yeah, he's decent against righties, but I don't really want to play him. And then the first inning of that game, he hits a freaking home run. I swear, it happens all the time. But yeah, there's a bunch of good cheap outfielders today. I think you're probably spending down here in cash.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do it in cash, but you can add Darren Ruff. It's actually funny because I think I played him um, against Arizona when he home runned or homered. I guess I don't know how you would say that past tense with a full thing, but he homered and it was his only at bat of the game. Or he had two. He walked after that, but he hit a homer the first time he was up, and then he walked, and they pulled him obviously because he doesn't. They always pull him just against right-handed pitching, which is why I don't think you should really use him in cash. But he's always going to really have a soft spot for me because even with one real at bat, he still got the job done for me.
Yeah, Jack Mountcastle's just really good, and he's cheap and good call. DJ Stewart, min price. I mean, look, I'm not a big Rick Porcello guy whatsoever, so I don't hate that at all.
I actually think Stewart's like good though.
Yeah, no, he's not bad. I think coming into the year, I think he had the highest projection for WOBA on their team, I think, entering the season.
Well, he's
So I
got
don't think
4
he's
homers
bad.
in his last
Yeah,
3 games.
he's been on fire. The Giants lineup just came out. Darren Ruff's hitting third. Wilmer Flores batting cleanup. Joey Bart is in there at 7th. Solano's batting second. Yeah, I mean,
Not to love Darren Ruff tonight.
yeah, Darren Ruff's like the Jordan Luplow kind of guy, you know, that he could get pinch hit for. So you need him to hit a home run, in one of his first couple of bats, but it could definitely happen. That about does it. Thank you guys for watching, tuning in. Bales, before we head out, give me your home run call for tonight.
Oh man, I'm gonna go with Michael Conforto.
All right, I like that. I will take Wilmer Flores for mine. Easy cop out against the lefty. Like I said, we're recording Game Theory NFL podcast tonight. It will be Bales, Sam, and myself. That'll be up late tonight on YouTube. It'll get tweeted out and stuff in the morning, posted on iTunes, all that. Be sure to check that out. With that being said, we'll see you guys on the next baseball stream. I'll see you guys tonight on the football stream. If you need anything else, we will be in Discord.